and enjoying themselves and whatnot. But let me adjust this man. There we go. Oh man, that guy's pretty. Hello, how are you? Now, before I get into it, this guy was here prior to the SIC championship. He said he'd be back. So I just wanted to make sure that I brought my man back, my guy Jarvis. What's going on, brother man? Jarvis, how's everything going, brother?
I am well, sir. How are you?
Oh, that's good. That's good. Glad to see you are in good spirits
Yes.
after a uh um
Shellacking. Yeah, you can say it. Yeah,
yeah.
that's
It
fine.
was a it was you can come up with the adjectives for it. It was a shellacking. It
Beat
was
down,
what do this? It's something. It's a word. I'm trying to think.
embarrassing. Maybe you can use that
It
word.
took y'all to the shed. I mean, it was good.
Bullshit.
The woodshed. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So, of course, if you guys are not up to what we're talking about the SIC championship. Of course, Jarvis, he played at Albany State. I played at Benedict College. Not at the same time, but we do rep, two different schools in the same conference. And of course, what was it, last week?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
No, the
last
week
week,
before last. Week
the
before
week
last.
before last,
Yeah.
Benedict took on Albany State. Let's go ahead and put some imagery up really quickly just to make sure that Benedict. Yeah, there we go. Benedict College, Albany State,
Yeah, man.
playing against each other.
Nice.
That's some nice action
Really nice
photos in
picture.
the
Yeah,
SIC
man. I see you,
championship.
bro. Yeah.
Unfortunately, Albany State took a major L to Benedict. What was it, 54 to 3 or something like that?
27-10. Calm down, man. Golly.
All right. Let me
Black folks
stop. Let
can't
me get
have
serious.
nothing, man.
Let
Like,
me get
you get a
you
little
got
credit,
four.
then you just
You
want to just
have
go crazy
four,
with it.
but you
It
got
was
four. Like you
85-2.
got all of them. I'm just we messing around, y'all. Let me
What was it,
stop. Let me
95 to
stop.
7? What was the score? Like, what?
45 to 10. So Benedict did take the win. And so they had first round bye going into the D2 playoffs. And of course, as we can see here, I'm looking at the bracket right now. Benedict will be taking on Lenore Ryan after a first round bye. Um, and potentially, get this, potentially Valdosta State could be playing against Benedict in the next round of the playoff if Benedict wins, because we know Benedict did fall last year in
Yeah.
the second round, right after the first round bye, and they hadn't been there before,
Right.
but they could possibly match up. I mean, they got some other schools: Augustina, Central Washington. Uh, I don't know the name of the mid State or something like that. It's just a few different schools. I know Pittsburgh State is a really good
Yeah.
school.
They've always had a
Grand
squad.
Valley
Yep.
State,
Hmm.
yeah.
Grand
There
Valley's
are
always been there too. I
Delta
mean,
State is always there.
I think the thing for you all is I feel like it's good that you all were able to get some experience last year because
Mhm.
back when I played, oh man, I sound like an old man.
We are. It's okay.
Back
It's
when I
okay.
played, so starting to
When
say
we
something
had leather helmets.
right when we had leather helmets and used to really slap box back in the day on the field. But nah, but seriously though, like we like going through that process of going to the playoffs and having that first round bye. And I think that it is a really good experience because I even talked about this before going into the game because I knew that we weren't going to be able to
No,
compete with Benedict because Coach
I think
Barry
the
is
quarterback
doing
was the highlight. He was the
right, no
highlight
doubt,
of
yeah,
Albany
yeah.
State. Right.
Like so, yeah, it's we're in a space where I kind of knew what the deal was, and I think that the thing for me though for Benedict is like what are you gonna do to get to that next level, right? The next level is going outside of the conference and spanking some folks and showing them what
Yeah.
time it is, what type of football
Right.
we play down here. So
Right.
so I think that we played what was it Arkansas Tech in
Mm.
the second round. We had the first round bye and we spanked they behind, and that kind of
Wow.
gave us a real picture as to like, okay, like we've been ranked, during Division II rankings throughout the year and everything like that. And you see the other teams, you kind of look at the stats and kind of see what's going on, and then we're like, okay, better than these cats. So
Right. Yeah. You kind of sum
like,
it
we're
up like we
better than
might be
them.
better than
So
them. Right.
yeah,
Right.
we might just be better than them. So I think that and we going out there and actually executing and doing it and getting that win was confirmation like of what we already thought we could do. So I think going into the next round, ironically, it's funny how Valdosta State always ends up on the same bracket as us.
They
I
do.
guess they in
Yeah.
the South, all that stuff. You got to go through Valdosta State if you want to try to
Mhm.
compete for a national championship. So, um, it is something that that you all were able to get that playoff experience prior to this year because
Right.
in '03 we went to the playoffs in '04, lost in the quarterfinals to Valdosta State, but in '03 we were supposed to get in, but we weren't
Mhm.
able to get in back then. Back in those days, we didn't have an automatic bid if you were the SIAC champion. So,
Right.
and they left us out. And I feel like if they probably would have let us in that year, we probably would have made a little bit more noise because I feel like that
Mm.
team was better than the '04 team. The
So
'03
you're saying the year before might have hindered you guys' opportunity to get back in the next year.
Right. Right. So
Wow.
that's why I feel like, Benedict, it was good that you all got that experience that first year.
Yeah.
Now, hey, now that you got the experience and you understand what it's like to be in the playoffs and what type of competition you're going to be going up against, I think this year it'll be good for Coach Barry because Coach Barry, man, like the dude is a hell of a coach.
He is, listen, he
Yeah,
is reeling on all cylinders and is showing up on everybody's coaching board. Of course, around this time of year, around November, people are working on their resumes. We're getting
right.
things ready as far as football is concerned. Coaches are getting their resumes together. They're getting ready to either apply, move on. And I'll just be honest. We know that this was going to come. If you're not paying attention to the HBCU diaspora or the sports or whatnot, follow this. As you can see, I've played against him once. Coach Buddy Pugh out of South Carolina State has coached his last game. He's retired.
Right.
It's expected for Coach Kenneth Berry to take on the job at South Carolina State, not going too far from Columbia over to Spartanburg.
Okay.
So these are things that we knew that was going to happen. With the success of Coach Berry would come other opportunities.
You think
So
it's
I
a done
wouldn't
deal?
be.
You think it's a done deal?
No, I don't think it's a done deal. I just know that I'm not going to take it as personal because I know somebody else took a more important job and everybody got all up in arms about it. So I wanted to make sure that I made it clear that if Coach Berry were to choose to go elsewhere, and I've heard it from Tolly Carr over at HBCU Game Day. We've heard names about Southern University. Southern University is looking for a brand new coach. They said that
Right.
Kenneth Berry is another. So Kenneth Berry right now is the hot commodity amongst HBCUs and amongst college football. So,
As well as should be.
I'm not mad at that. When you
Right.
become successful and you do good things as a coach and as an organization, things happen that way. But that's not why I called you onto the show today. Of course, you all know Jarvis from his expertise with that jersey behind you, the Atlanta Falcons jersey. And as you can see, I got my gear on. We're 1-0 this week because we did not play. We didn't
Okay.
lose.
That's how that works on the
That's
bye week?
that's an upside
Okay.
for it. I don't think you've been on too many losing teams before, have you?
No. Well, I've been on one. I played
Okay.
arena football. We won one game. I think we went 1-15. Yeah, we were
And
off.
after that bye, you felt good because like, you know what? We didn't lose last week. And I
Yes.
think that's how the Falcons feel right now. We didn't
Don't worry
lose.
about bye weeks and stuff. I was
You know?
nightlife when I was playing arena football.
Oh, okay.
Keep it funky.
Anywho,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right,
It's
right.
another podcast. Yeah.
Whole nother
Another
podcast.
genre. Yes.
But if you really think about it, the Atlanta Falcons right now, 4-5, 4-5, 4-6, 4-6, right?
4-6. Yep.
4-6. And I made an analogy, not even an analogy, but I just made a point to my buddy. He was like, hey, give Arthur Smith a chance. Give him a chance. He's going to do better. He can galvanize the team and make them great and all that other good stuff. Great. But the point that I made to him was that last year we was at the same spot.
Yeah.
Last year we was at the exact same spot. The difference is all of the additions that we've had during the offseason. Calais Campbell, you got Bates, you have your Akudawa, right? I don't want to Jeff Akudawa. You don't Akuda. I want to say the
murder last name.
Right. I know. I don't want to do that, and I just did it 3-4 times.
And murder early in the morning.
But all of these things have happened for the Falcons, and yet we're still here. We're still at the same spot. It's like going and buying a brand new car and that's the addition that you've made, but you're still stuck in the same position. It just doesn't make any sense, in my opinion. Jarvis, give me some insight as far as the Atlanta Falcons going into this week. I know that we have some grand concert going on before the game. You didn't know?
Yes, I know.
Oh, okay. I'm about
I
to
have
say,
a
yeah,
theory
it's
to
something.
that as well.
Okay, so
If you care to hear it,
I am
we'll get to
I'm
it,
all
though.
ears. I'm all ears. Jarvis, give me some insight, man. What's up?
So, I mean, if you look at what the Falcons, the type of space that the Falcons are in right now, specifically Arthur Smith, and he's in a space where, like, since in his tenure as the head coach of this team, he's averaged less than 20 points a game. And he's the offensive coordinator. He's an offensive minded coach. I know people want to say, oh, well, they had roster issues. I was like, but like the NFL is built for you to turn things around, regardless of salary cap.
Within a year.
Especially because there's a certain amount of money set aside for your draft class every year. So guess what?
Yeah,
If you draft well, you might the guys that fill out your roster, might not be as great, but you can dang sure get some game changers in here to change your outlook on where your team is going. So I don't necessarily buy into that whole justification of having a back-to-back years of losing records because of quote-unquote salary cap hell. So I don't too much buy in that. But I think right now, in this space where the Falcons are currently, right? Grady Jarrett's done for the season. You had David Onyemata, your other defensive tackle that you signed. He's more than likely going to come back. So, and I think offensively, you just named Desmond Ridder as a starter. So this is your guy, right? Like quarterbacks matter. Like who you say your quarterback is going to be, at least for that season or going into the future, that is on your head. Like, and I feel like this has to work. Arthur Smith and Desmond Ridder has to work. That's why he named him for the starter for the rest of the season. So I think going into the NFC South matchup, you're 2-0 in the division already. You got the opportunity to go 3-0 and really have a nice head start as to what this NFC South picture is going to look like. It's just all on him he just has to go out there and perform, man. Like I'm talking about from a play calling standpoint, and Desmond Ridder has to go out there and perform too. Prove the people that you belong. Prove the people that, hey, the Falcons aren't crazy for saying, hey, this is our QB1, and we're going to bring in a backup quarterback to, specifically be a backup and not be compete for the starting position. So I think there's a lot on the line in this game, and Arthur Smith wouldn't go as far to say it must win, but I damn sure am. This is a must-win game.
Right. This is a very must-win.
Like you got to stop the bleeding, dude, because you're on a 3-game losing streak. Like it's time to stop the bleeding, man. Like, coach.
So I made
those guys right and make sure they do what they need to do.
I made a claim early in the season. I'm not sure if you saw it, but I said I feel that the Saints are going to win the division. And so my brother, you met my brother. He was animated about it. He was like, so you mean to tell me you picked the Saints over and yes, I am a Falcons fan. And we know that is Benedict Arnold activity. Okay. That is betrayal. But if you really look at if you look at the only reason I call it how I see it. And I didn't say that they were going to win because of Derek Carr. I didn't say that they were going to win the division because he all alone is that great of a player. No. But the point is that the Saints were almost the exact same team. Really good defense, okay on the offense. The difference is that we start to fall apart when we know that our offense isn't moving. Our defense does what it can do, but at some point we know that we can't stop it.
Right.
The Saints, I feel like at some point they're going to be able to win games because of their defense. You dig what I'm saying? Our offense, we leave our defense on the field way too long. And I feel as though the Saints, I feel like sometimes, defenses can win games for you. And I feel like the Saints, it's not going to be by a big margin, first of all. I want to point that out. No one is going to win the NFC South with a large margin. It could be Tampa, it could be us, it could be the Saints. The Carolina Panthers are out of the question.
Yeah, they go. Yeah.
Right, yeah. But I feel as though we are not built to win this division. We weren't built to win this division last year, and we had a slim margin, a small opportunity to do that, and we didn't. And then here we are again this year. It's only going to be one team that heads out of the division in the South. I really feel it's going to be one team. If the playoffs started today, the Atlanta Falcons right now, they are ranked number 10 in the division. So that is the Los Angeles Rams are ahead of them. The Packers are at the 8th position. The Packers can possibly find themselves with a 4-6 record. They could possibly find themselves in the playoffs. And so I point those things out because there's a lot that's riding on this game today. I mean, not today, Sunday. It's a lot riding on this game Sunday. But you said something about the concert that's going on prior to the game. Yeah, I want to hear about that because you said you had somewhat of a not an inkling, but somewhat of a theory behind that. What is it?
Um, so I know a lot of people talk about attendance and a lot of time being at the covering the games and everything like that.
Right.
They always announce how many tickets have been distributed, not
Uh-huh.
how many people are actually in the building or how many people use those said tickets.
True.
So I feel that the Atlanta Falcons have gotten to a space where they are going to have this concert to celebrate the 50-year anniversary, and it is before the game starts.
Correct. Correct. I
So
will be
if
in the
you
building.
have tickets to this game, it will behoove you to show up to that concert and then stick around for the game. So
It's like the
and
band
then
is
your
playing
seats by
before
the
the
time it
game.
kick off. So I think that not only celebrating 50-year anniversary of hip hop and all that stuff, but yeah, this is very convenient for Falcons fans and everybody who else trying to come to the game to be in their seats by the time 1 o'clock starts. That 1 o'clock starts. So yeah, I think it's a very good thing that they're doing to have all these different artists and everything performing, but it benefits them as well. So yeah.
It benefits the Falcons. I get you. And the bottom line is still the bottom line. You want to make sure that you get butts in the seats, which they have not been able to do consistently.
Mhm.
But the number one thing that gets butts in the seats is winning. I would be remiss if I did not say this before we left today. And I don't think it's good to call for someone's job,
Yeah.
but I will say,
You have
like
done
you
that
said, you got
before.
to call
Yeah.
it. You
Last time
got
you
to
talked.
call it like you see it.
Yeah, you did.
You
Yeah.
got to call it like you see it. And I'm not trying to be detrimental to brother Arthur Smith, but
So
at this
he's
point, I
done
mean, we
after the
got to,
season?
huh?
He's done after the you saying the man should be
I
fired?
don't, I don't know. I don't see it going further than this season. And to be honest, I don't see this Sunday going well for us.
Terry Fontenot too? He gotta go?
No, Terry can stay. And
Okay.
like we said last time, this is what you get when you hire your head coach before you hire your general manager. There's a problem in that.
That's fair.
But I just want to say, whenever the Atlanta Falcons, we had pageantry, we had a whole bunch of lights and cameras and stuff prior to, after. When you try the gimmicky way, it just I just don't see that this being beneficial to the Atlanta Falcons. But that's just my
Man, look,
opinion.
man, look, man. Look, man, I think you preaching to the choir.
Okay.
Because here's the thing, man. Like, I'm not gonna say that Arthur Smith, I feel like these 7 games is gonna determine that. Like, for me, like whether or not he deserves to be the head coach of the team going forward.
Correct. Correct.
But there is something to what you just said. The whole pageantry, the cuteness,
Mhm.
the positionless football, pass catchers,
Flea
dynamic tight
flickers.
ends, amazing running backs, and all that stuff, man. You know what I watched last night? I watched 2 teams go at it who prioritize offensive and defensive line, and them cats were getting after it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jalen Carter out here trying to doggone intercept the spike
Which
on a
we
play.
passed on. Which we
You know what I'm
passed
saying?
on. We as an organization passed on
Of
Jalen Carter,
course,
and the
yeah.
Eagles
It's not
got
sexy.
away with one. Oh,
Now
they got
granted
away with one.
now granted, I understand all the stuff that would have come with it, right? All the questions. Oh, yeah, he was involved, and a lot of people were I hated the framing of the words that the people talk about that situation down in Athens and how it went down. I thought it was a little bit unfair. Yeah, true
Big
enough.
time.
Yeah, he was there, no doubt, but he did not cause the accident. He
Yeah.
was actually street racing with them, and they got into an accident. So I think that, and I think there's a fine line between that, right? Because a lot of
Yeah.
people, basically almost essentially seemed like they were blaming him for, you know, for the other players that got into the accident. And I was just
Right.
like, that's totally unfair. But yeah, true enough, he was wrong, yeah, for doing it, no doubt. But he did not cause that accident. So I think that Falcons probably not probably, but they took that into consideration. Like they don't want the
Mhm.
blowback. So, but the Philly, look, they coming out shining like gold right now. They
They
like,
are
all
number
right,
one team in
all
the
right,
NFL.
cool, yeah, no
Big
problem.
time.
Yeah,
Big
so
time.
yeah, I think that the Falcons now, it's gonna be hard to change this. Like the philosophy is flawed. I've always
Big
felt like
time.
it's flawed because
Big
I've
time.
been calling for pass rushers for how long? 8 years, 9 years. Like what are we doing? And then when they did draft pass rushers, they didn't necessarily pan out. Tack McKinley,
The only
so
the
this has
only
been
one that panned out was Grady. And I mean,
and I'll
we can
give
all
Vic
talk
Beasley
about the
too.
lineage.
I stand on top of the mountain and say Vic Beasley panned out because
He did
he
what
was
he was
one of the
supposed to
main
do.
reasons that the Falcons
We
won
were in the
the Super
Super
Bowl in
Bowl, right?
2016. Yeah. Like dude had an amazing year. He just didn't like football after that for some reason.
Now the next 7 games, and before we get out of here, I got to point this out. Next 7 games, we got the Saints twice, the
Yep.
Jets, Buccaneers,
Mhm.
Panthers, Colts, and Bears.
Mhm.
Again, I don't even see these. I can't see us going 500 with these 7 games. And you see how awkward that is because 7 is an odd number and you
Right.
can't go 500. So I really believe that we are not going to have a winning record on the
Wow.
other side of these 7 games. I really believe it. I
I
really
mean,
believe it.
I mean, if I haven't watched the last 3 games that they lost, I would like probably push back on that. But given how they played these past few games, like there are no such thing as winnable games for them
No,
because you don't know what to expect when they come out when they take the field. So like the one expectation that I did have that they were living through was the defense. But like I said, the past 3 games, defense has been suspect.
I mean, you got the Saints coming in with the top 5 defense. You got the Jets coming in with the top 10 defense. You got the Buccaneers,
Offense
and
was awful.
we squeaked away with one against the Buccaneers. So I know they're trying to get some get back. The
They got
Panthers,
Baker
yes, they
Mayfield
got
quarterback though.
true, but
Give him
again,
love on that.
we almost let Baker Mayfield beat us.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's just
Oh,
it's so
man.
many different teams, and yes, all of these teams are under 500 currently. Saints, Jets, Bucks, Panthers, Colts, Bears, all are under 500 currently. But I do not believe
The Falcons
that
are
we
under
are the team
500
to,
too.
and
So
we're not the team to do that. That's just
yeah.
how it is.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, you already know what time it is. It is me, he is I, and I am him. I am he that they call the alpha male. That there is Jarvis D90. Wait, Jarvis D90. Yeah, on Twitter. Make sure y'all go follow him. But also, it's just Jarvis. It's just Jarvis. Might need to have a segment called It's Just Jarvis.
Yeah. That's it.
Appreciate it, brother, man. Thank you for stopping by, bro.
Thank you for having me, man. I really appreciate it.